The British royals don't do much in half measures, and that includes their invitations. But what do the symbols in King Charles III's coronation invite actually mean? At the base of Charles III's coronation invitation, artist Andrew Jameson has painted a prominent green face made of various leaves and crowned with wildflowers. This is a depiction of the Green Man, a folk character with a long history in the British Isles as a symbol of rejuvenation. He is included here to represent the beginning of a new reign. That the Green Man is widely believed to be a figure from antiquity isn't disputed, but whether or not he actually is an ancient symbol is another matter. The modern perception of the Green Man comes from an article written by Julia Somerset, the Lady Raglan, in 1939. She was interested in the ubiquitous presence of faces made out of leaves in church architecture throughout Europe. Her interpretation of those carvings as an ancient pagan deity of spring that coexisted with Christianity throughout the medieval period became very popular, but it has since been widely challenged by scholars. Most folklorists hold that there was no tradition of a springtime spirit made of leaves in Britain or anywhere else, and that the church heads were only decorative. On the other hand, some historians have found evidence for the Green Man as a genuinely ancient figure. Whether he's that old or not, the perception of him as such is well supported by the British press, and so the perception remains. Many of the symbols included in Charles III's coronation invitation are well-established representations of the United Kingdom or its component nations. This extends to some of the flowers used throughout the design, since for 3 of the nations, flowers have long served as royal heraldic symbols. England's heraldic flower is a Tudor rose, a combination of the red rose of the House of Lancaster and the white rose of the House of York, unified after Henry VII of the Tudor dynasty overthrew Richard III, took the throne, and wed Elizabeth of York.
Boom.
Scotland's heraldic flower is the thistle. A popular legend claims that invaders in the 13th century gave away their attack against the Scottish after stepping on this prickly plant. Northern Ireland, like the Republic of Ireland, is identified by the shamrock, which was said to have been used by St. Patrick to explain the Trinity to his converts. Wales has no flower officially designated a royal heraldic badge, however. The leek, a white and green vegetable, shares colors with the Welsh standard, so it's long been used as a symbol of the nation. But Wales is also popularly identified with the yellow daffodil. For the coronation invitation, Wales was represented by the latter. Flowers dominate Andrew Jameson's artwork for Charles III's coronation, and those used in the design weren't chosen at random. They all have long-standing use as symbols in Western culture, a connection to the British royal family, or both. One pays tribute to Charles's predecessor, Queen Elizabeth II. Her favorite flower was the lily of the valley, a flower with a mythology linked to the Bible. It's been used throughout history to symbolize royalty, purity, a return to happiness, and motherhood. Another flower with ties to the royal family is that of the wild strawberry. Strawberries and cream are said to be a favorite royal dessert. Cornflowers don't have such a direct tie to the British monarchy, but they are long-standing symbols of anticipation, the future, and prosperity, among other virtues. Dog roses have symbolized love and beauty since the days of the ancient Greeks, and bluebells have been associated with gratitude and humility, though they also feature prominently in fairy folklore. The flowers in the invitation design for Charles III's coronation are grouped in threes. This was done to acknowledge that Charles is the 3rd monarch of that name to reign over Britain. Before his accession, there were rumors and speculation that he might not use his own name as king. Sovereigns can choose a separate regnal name, and since Charles's grandfather George VI was so beloved and so influential in Queen Elizabeth II, it was wondered if Charles might become George VII. Besides, Charles hasn't always been a lucky name for English kings. Charles I was said to be courteous, devout, and sensitive, but also inflexibly committed to the principle of divine right. His inability and unwillingness to work with Parliament culminated in civil war, the end result being Charles's execution and England's brief experiment with republicanism. His son Charles II was luckier in his rule, but he was also a spendthrift hedonist who neglected many of the duties of governance. At the top of Charles III's coronation invitation are 2 coats of arms, one on either side. To the left is the royal coat of arms of the United Kingdom, widely seen at home and abroad, though artist Andrew Jameson did put a personal spin on his rendering. It features a quartered shield with 2 representations of the 3 golden lions of England, the red lion rampant of Scotland, and the harp of Ireland. The Lion of England and the Unicorn of Scotland act as heraldic supports. It's topped by a crown and stands alongside the royal family's motto, Dieu est mon droit, meaning God and my right. To the right is the personal coat of arms for Camilla, Queen Consort. Her arms have a halved shield, with one half holding the quartered standard of the UK and the other featuring a boar's head, 2 red stars, and a cross. The supports are the Lion of England and a blue boar, taken from the arms of Camilla's father, Major Bruce Shand. If the British monarchy is well represented in the artwork created for Charles III's coronation invitations, so is nature. flowers, birds, bees, a lion, a boar, and a unicorn appear throughout. While the royal family's website didn't explicitly give a reason for this motif in its description of the invitation, it's hard not to connect it to Charles's long and well-publicized interest in environmentalism. As Prince of Wales, Charles was outspoken about the dangers of pollution as early as 1970, advocating for action with preserving the natural world and fighting climate change well before it became a mainstream issue.
Because I felt that if you push things too far, you will always create an equal and opposite reaction, which is exactly what's happened.
In his brushes with the political world, for which he has attracted much criticism, environmental issues were often raised by Charles to government officials. How much of this sort of soft power he'll be able to use as king is likely to change. As a non-political head of state, it's required of the sovereign to remain neutral and detached from politics. But Charles's commitment to conservation is unlikely to ebb, and the coronation invitations reflect this in another way. They were all printed on recycled cardstock.